Hello witches, wizards, and those who have yet to receive their Hogwarts letters. Welcome to my Harry Potter kitchen. This is a YouTube series where I'm baking my way through the Harry Potter books, making recipes for all the food and drink featured inside. If you missed last week's recipe for our porridge or Hogwarts house-inspired overnight oats, then check out the link down below in the description to catch up. But it's Magic Monday, so let's see what's up next. Got time for some more food before your next lesson at Hogwarts? Well, if you don't want to miss a thing from my Harry Potter kitchen, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell so you get an alert every week when there is a brand new recipe. Speaking of which, let's get to the kitchen. Okay, so while Harry and Ron are finishing up their porridge, they're talking about what's coming next, which is double potions with the Slytherins. Probably not a great lesson to be looking forward to, but before they leave the Great Hall, he does get a letter from Hagrid inviting him round for tea, and that is something to look forward to. We've made tea before in the series. If you want to check that out, the playlist is down below. He goes off to potions, which doesn't go so well. Snape seems to have it in for him, and he ends up losing points for Gryffindor, but he clears his mind and goes off to Hagrid's hut, and I can see our next recipe. There was only one room inside. Hams and pheasants were hanging from the ceiling. We're probably not going to hang these hams from the ceiling, but let's see what we can cook up. For this recipe, you will need 1 unsmoked boneless gammon joint, 1 red onion, 2 carrots, 1 stick of celery, and a few cloves of garlic. You'll also need 2 bay leaves, 1 teaspoon of black peppercorns, 1 to 2 cinnamon sticks, and 2 star anise. Then for our glaze, we're going to use 100 grams of muscovado sugar, 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, 100 grams of honey, and some cloves. Now, you might have bought ham before in the supermarket, but when was the last time you thought about how it got into that packet? Today I'm going to show you how it's done, and it's actually a really simple recipe. Takes a little bit of time, but you will get the most beautifully flavoured ham at the end of it. The process starts by making a stock, which we're going to boil the ham in to seal in all that flavour, and then we're going to create a beautiful sticky glaze and roast it in the oven to crispen up. So let's get started. To begin, we're going to prepare our vegetables for our stock. So as we're only going to be using them to boil and roast, you don't need to spend too much time doing this. Roughly chop your carrots, onion, celery stick, and your cloves of garlic. Next, you want to add all your vegetables and your gammon into your pot. Once all your vegetables are in, you can pour some cold water right up to the top of the gammon. Then you want to season it with some salt, pepper, your bay leaves, cinnamon sticks, and star anise. Place this onto a medium heat and bring it up to the boil. Once it starts bubbling away, you want to skim off any scum that has formed on top and then leave it to simmer for half an hour. Now, this process of making a stock for our gammon is going to make sure it is super juicy when it cooks, and it's going to soak up all of those flavours in the stock as well. So it's a really important step. When we finish this, we're going to roast it in the oven, but we want to make this into a Hogwarts honey roasted ham. So for that, we're going to need a glaze to go on top. It's really, really quick and easy to do. So while your ham is bubbling away, you can get into making it. For our glaze, all you need to do is get yourself a bowl and then add in all your ingredients. That's the muscovado sugar, balsamic vinegar, and honey. Give it a good mix until it is well combined, and then pop it to one side. Once your ham has finished simmering, you want to take it off the heat and then remove it from the pan. You'll then want to give it some time to cool down before we move on to the next step of preparation. Now, if you've ever had a joint of ham at Christmas, you know that traditionally they score the fat along the top so you get these nice diamond shapes, and also stick cloves in it, which give it some extra flavour and add to a little bit of presentation. We're going to do a similar trick here today, but it's my Harry Potter kitchen, so we're also going to carve in some signature lemon bolts. Now, there are different types of fat when it comes to meat. Some will melt down in the oven and give extra flavour, but some will be too chewy. You can see the difference here with the 2 tones of fat, so we're going to try and remove the top layer by carefully carving our knife along while we pull it away. That's going to leave our softer fat, which is much easier to carve into. Taking a sharp knife first, I'm going to make some big diamond shapes by going across diagonally one side and then diagonally across the other side. Once you're happy with your diamond shapes, you can move on to your lightning bolts, and I've taken a slightly smaller knife and then carved them in between each diamond. Take your time and make sure it's just deep enough so that it holds its shape in the oven. At this point, just before we pop it back into the oven, it's time to glaze it up, and you want to take about half of your glaze, pouring it over the top and sides of your ham joints. Make sure it's well coated and then keep the rest of the glaze for later. You then want to take your cloves and place them into the points of each diamond to add some extra distinction and also give it some more flavour. Pop your ham into the oven at 180 degrees Celsius for half an hour. After half an hour, the top should have started to crispen up and caramelise, so you want to take it out of the oven and then place the rest of your glaze on top. Once it's nice and coated again, pop it back into the oven for another 15 minutes. Once it's cooked, you can remove it from the oven and allow it to cool slightly before you carve into it. This ham can be enjoyed hot or cold, but however you want to serve it, it's gonna taste delicious. Carve it up and give it to your guest to enjoy. So there you go, our first recipe from Hagrid's hut is in the bag. Let me know down below in the comments, do you prefer your ham hot or cold? That's all for this week's recipe, but if you want to see more from my Harry Potter kitchen, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell so you get an alert on Monday when there is a brand new recipe.